Hello class 9. Today I am starting with the chapter Respiration in Plants. Now what is respiration? Respiration, the food which we take is broken down with the help of the oxygen which we breathe in, and by the oxidation of those molecules, when energy is released, then that is the respiration process. So all living cells, including plants, requires energy for their body activities, and this energy we obtain from the process known as respiration. Now this is the chemical reaction. C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy. Now there are three important characteristics of respiration. What are those? First one, you see, the breakdown of glucose to carbon dioxide and water does not occur in a single step. We are seeing in a reaction that it is a single step process, but actually it is not. It requires a number of sub steps in between that, and a series of chemical reactions occur to bring out this product. Now these steps occur in two major phases, glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Now we have to know that glycolysis, what is the site of glycolysis? Glycolysis occurs in cytoplasm and Krebs cycle occurs in mitochondria. So these are the two locations we need to know, and these are the two phases in which respiration can be divided. I hope it's clear. You have to practice the chemical reaction. Each breakdown step is due to a particular enzyme. Now there are a number of enzymes required. Now with this point, one thing also becomes very clear, that because enzymes are involved, temperature is also very important factor for this reaction. The energy liberated in the breakdown of the glucose molecule is not all in the form of heat, but a large part of it is converted into chemical energy in the form of ATP, a chemical substance called adenosine triphosphate. So whatever energy is liberated, it is liberated in the form of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. Now, when energy in the form of ATP is used, the ATP is converted to ADP, and again when more energy is available by further breakdown of glucose, the ADP is reconverted to ATP, and so it goes on and on. 1 mole of glucose on complete oxidation yields 38 molecules of ATP. Okay, so ATP is converted to ADP. Again, when required, ADP is reconverted to ATP. Like this, the cycle goes on. And one thing you have to remember, 1 mole of glucose yields 38 molecules of ATP on complete oxidation. Mind it, on complete oxidation. Clear? So this is the diagram which represents the energy which is liberated and the cycle of ATP and ADP. Now what is this ATP? You need to know. This is the energy currency of the cell. All activities inside a living cell need energy which is available in the form of ATP as the immediate source. Hence, this chemical compound ATP is described as the energy currency of the cell. Now, you have to know the proper definition of respiration, as it is the process of breaking down of glucose. So, definitely, I hope you have learned in your childhood that catabolism and anabolism. So, respiration is definitely an example of catabolic reaction, catabolic process of releasing energy from simple sugar glucose for carrying out life processes. Living organisms show two types of metabolic activities. Again, they have described here, anabolic and catabolic. Anabolic means something which is constructive, and catabolic means something which is destructive. Destructive means breaking down, constructive means biosynthetic process. So, can you give one example of anabolism? It is photosynthesis in plants, can be an example of anabolism. Okay, and catabolism, just now you have got the example of respiration. Now, see students, they have given a difference between respiration and burning or combustion. There are 7 points they have given. This table is very important. I will always suggest to go through 5 points, but I think 1 point more you can learn, because if you forget, if you get a 5 marks question and if you forget one of the points, so please go through. I think all the 7 points you go through, then it will be easier for you to remember. Now, the entire plant respires. Oxygen is obtained from the atmosphere through 3 inlets: stomata in leaves, lenticels in stems, general surface of the roots. Now, during daytime in photosynthesis, the leaves produce oxygen, some of which is used in respiration, and the rest is diffused out. The CO2 produced during respiration in the leaves serves as a raw material for photosynthesis. At night, even the leaves obtain oxygen from the atmosphere and give out CO2. Hence, there appears to be some truth in the belief that one should not sleep under a tree at night. Why? Because tree is releasing more and more carbon dioxide at that time, and sleeping under a tree at that time will definitely lead to lots of carbon dioxide concentration inside our body also, which is not very good for us. Sleeping under a tree under hot midday is definitely good, as one gets both oxygen and coolness, because oxygen from photosynthesis and coolness due to transpiration process. Clear? Now, there are 2 kinds of respiration. One is aerobic, another is anaerobic. Aerobic means when it is involving oxygen. Normally, free oxygen is used in respiration, and there is complete oxidation of glucose with the formation of carbon dioxide and water as end products. This is clearly represented by the following overall reaction. Please, again, here you have to practice the reaction. C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus 38 ATP. Respiration proceeds only when oxygen is available and is therefore called aerobic or oxybiotic respiration. The other name, you have to remember, you have to learn it. Anaerobic, sometimes certain parts of plants including fruits and seeds may temporarily respire even in the absence of oxygen. In this type of respiration, the glucose molecule is incompletely broken down into ethyl alcohol, or we can also say ethanol, and carbon dioxide with the release of small quantity of energy. Now, what is that reaction? C6H12O6, because there is no oxygen, so we are not writing oxygen, giving ethanol, 2C2H5OH. OH group means alcohol group, plus 2CO2 plus 2 ATP. So you can understand, there we were getting 38 ATP. Here we are getting only 2 ATP. So very small quantity of energy. This type of respiration is called anaerobic respiration or anoxybiotic, as it proceeds even without oxygen. Anaerobic respiration in any part cannot continue in a plant for more than a few days, and the part ultimately dies. But there are certain microscopic organisms such as certain bacteria and fungi which normally respire only anaerobically. Even the germinating seeds, when deprived of air, respire anaerobically, as described in experiments. So we'll come to that. Okay. Now, very important table, aerobic and anaerobic difference, all the 5 points, very important. First difference we all know, presence of oxygen, absence of oxygen. Another difference we again all know, 38 ATP, 2 ATP. End products also we know, carbon dioxide and water, ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. One thing we have to remember, aerobic means complete breakdown of glucose, anaerobic means incomplete breakdown of glucose. And the fifth point, occurs normally throughout life, and anaerobic occurs temporarily for shorter periods of time. Now students, in this chapter there are lots of experiments which you have to go through. Now this is the diagram of an experiment to prove that oxygen is used up in respiration. Now you see the setup. Flask A contains germinating bean seeds. Very carefully you observe the diagram. And flask B has dead seeds together with some antiseptic to avoid bacterial decay, because dead seeds, that is why bacterial decay can occur. So that is why we have to put there some antiseptic. And dead beans means boiled beans. And the number A contains germinating bean seeds means those are living seeds. Okay. Wet content provides water to both the samples. We are putting wet cotton wool, which is providing continuous supply of water. A small tube containing soda lime. Now what is this soda lime? It is a mixture of sodium hydroxide and slaked lime. I hope you have learned this in your chemistry. So this soda lime is suspended in each of the flask. And what is the purpose of this soda lime? You have to remember this: for absorbing any CO2 released by the seeds. After a few days, the delivery tube connected with flask A will show a greater rise in the water level. When a burning paper is introduced into each flask after removing their corks, the flame is immediately put off in flask A, but it continues for a short while in flask B. This proves that oxygen was absent in flask A, showing thereby that it was used up by the germinating seeds, and the volume of oxygen so used up was indicated by the rise of water level in the delivery tube. So, I hope you have understood how we are proving that oxygen is used up in respiration. Because germinating beans are living beans and boiled beans are dead beans, and we have made all the CO2 to be absorbed by the soda lime solution. Now after a few days, what we are seeing, the water in the delivery tube which is connected to the A is increasing in the level. I hope you can see very properly the diagram. I hope it's clear. You can see that shaded portion inside that very thin delivery tube. So why the water is rising up? Because there is a vacuum created inside the flask A. Why this vacuum has been created? Because whatever oxygen was present inside flask A, that has been used by the germinating beans to respire. So after respiration, they have used up all the oxygen, and that is why it is full of carbon dioxide over there. So, and that CO2 is also being absorbed by soda lime. So there is a vacuum. So the water is rising up, which is not the case with B. Clear? So this proves that oxygen is used up in respiration, because dead beans cannot respire. I hope it's clear. Okay. Next experiment you see, it is to prove that carbon dioxide is produced during respiration. Now for this we have taken two flasks, A and B. Again we have placed some wet cotton wool at the bottom, and in number A we have placed some soaked seeds and equal number of boiled seeds, that means dead beans, I have placed in the flask B. A little antiseptic is added to flask B. Now what is this antiseptic? Carbolic acid, to prevent bacterial growth in flask B, which would otherwise respire and release carbon dioxide. The flasks are securely corked and left in similar conditions of light and temperature. Now a few days later, what we'll see, the seeds in flask A will be found to have clearly germinated, and those in flask B showing no signs of germination. The gases in each flask are then tested by removing the cork and tilting the flask over a test tube containing lime water and then shaking up the test tube. the expected gas carbon dioxide, being heavier than the air, would flow down into the test tube. The gas from flask A would term the lime water milky, showing the presence of CO2, while the gas in flask B will show no effect. Therefore, the conclusion is that the germinating seeds gives out CO2. It's a very easy experiment, right? Because you know that lime water turns milky when it is dissolving CO2 in it. And when this CO2, we are testing for CO2, we are tilting flask A and flask B both in the lime water. We can see the change. We can see the difference in the change. That from A, it is turning lime water milky, but from B, it is not having any result. Clear? Now students, you see this diagram. This is an alternative method for the same experiment. Now this method, you can get question from here. So I'm willing to describe this once to you so that you can answer the questions. A similar, more directly observable experiment to show that carbon dioxide is produced during respiration. You see, they have taken 4 flasks, 4 conical flasks, A, B, C, D. And in A, what happened? They are putting their KOH solution, and there are 2 holes in the cork. 2-hole rubber stopper they have taken, and 2 delivery tubes are inserted. One is coming inside from the atmospheric air, and the other is going outside from the conical flask to conical flask B, conical flask A to B. So these are all bent glass tubes. These are actually delivery tubes. Again in B they have put lime water, and again 2 delivery tubes. Another is going to number C. In C they have kept the germinating seeds, that means the living seeds. And in flask D, again they have put some lime water, and again a delivery tube is coming out from the second hole of the cork. The air drawn in conical flask A is cleared of any CO2 present in the air with the help of this KOH solution, because the air which is coming is dissolving all the CO2 in the KOH solution, right? The clear lime water in flask B confirms that the air entering flask C is CO2 free, because any CO2 is there, then it is dissolving again in the lime water. If any CO2 is present after passing number A, then the lime water is turning milky. So that means again CO2 is dissolved. So the air which is going to number C is absolutely CO2 free. Now the lime water in flask D turning milky doubtless proves that the source of CO2 was only the germinating seeds, because the air which has entered inside number A has passed through KOH solution and lime water. So it is not possible for any CO2 to be present, right? So whatever CO2 which is turning lime water milky in flask D, it has come from the germinating seeds respiration. Clear? Now next, this experiment you see, it is to show that heat is evolved during respiration. We have taken 2 thermos flasks and marked them A and B, taken about 200 seeds and soaked them in water for more than 24 hours. Now divide the seeds into 2 equal groups. Kill one group of seeds by boiling them, and then wash them with dilute formalin or carbolic acid to prevent bacterial decay. Put the live germinating seeds in flask A and the killed ones in flask B. Insert a thermometer. As you can see in this diagram, thermometers are inserted in each flask and plug their mouths with cotton wool. After a few hours, the thermometer in flask A will show a higher reading, thus indicating that the germinating seeds gives out heat. The thermometer in flask B will not show any rise in temperature. So you can see the rise in temperature. We can see the mercury has risen in number A, and in number B the mercury has not risen, right? So that means respiration is a metabolic process, you know. So definitely it will release heat energy. The last experiment is to demonstrate anaerobic respiration. Take 8 to 10 soaked and peeled off peas and push them into the mouth of a test tube filled with mercury and invert it in a beaker of mercury. The seeds will float to the top and will be completely surrounded by mercury. The blackish portion is the mercury. Okay. After about 2 days, the level of mercury in the test tube will fall. And the liberated gas will be found to be carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, can be tested by introducing potassium hydroxide into the test tube, which will float up through mercury, and on coming into contact, it will absorb the carbon dioxide and the level of the mercury will again rise. A similar control experiment could be set up in which the seeds may be kept after killing them by heating and sterilizing them with some antiseptic. No gas will be liberated in the control. So, because CO2 is displacing the mercury was going down. Again, if we introduce KOH, it will absorb all the CO2 and again it will rise. So, that will prove that the gas is nothing but CO2. Clear? All the diagrams for the experiments are very, very important, right? Next, you come to this table, very important difference between photosynthesis and respiration. At least 6 points. Clear? Another thing which you have to learn is the respiration in plants compared to respiration in animals. First point, there is no gaseous transport. One of the end products in anaerobic respiration is ethanol instead of lactic acid, as in the case of animals, and they produce very little heat as compared to animals. So there are these 3 differences between the respiration in plant and respiration in animals. Clear? Okay students, so we are done with this chapter. Go through the chapter, go through the experiments, properly practice the diagrams, reactions, and also the comparisons. Okay, if you have any problem, you can come up with your questions. I will definitely answer it. And if you have any problem regarding any other chapters, that also you may ask. Okay, thank you.